Thank you. How does a student get disqualified?
This is always a two-step process to get disqualified. First, you have to get onto probation. I shouldn't say you have to. Nobody wants to do this. But you go from what's called good academic standing, which means that your SJSU cumulative GPA is at 2.0 or above. 2.0 is a C or better for your GPA at San Jose State. That's the one that determines what's called your academic standing. If it drops below 2.0, you go on to probation. And then there's a fairly complex set of rules determining whether you stay on probation, return to good standing, or get disqualified, or often referred to as DQ'd. So to return to good standing, you simply need to raise your overall SJSU cumulative GPA to 2.0 or better. To get disqualified, there are a number of ways of doing that. But while you're on probation, the most important thing to do is to find out the specific rules, because they are different for different class levels and different situations. So there are probation workshops run in many of the college advising centers. There are also probation workshops run by the academic advisors in AARS. So the best thing to do is to get yourself to a probation workshop, find out exactly what you need to do to get off probation, because that is, in effect, your warning. You're given 1 semester warning, and if you don't straighten up your academic record, you could easily become disqualified.
Thank you. What if a student becomes disqualified?
My first advice is not to get disqualified, because you often dig yourself into a grade point deficiency, which is very difficult to recover from. And we know that a lot of disqualified students never end up graduating from here, so bad idea. But if you get there, you should still avail yourself of advisors both in the major and also in the university as a whole. If you will only talk for a moment about university disqualification, for that, there are a number of processes that have to be completed. The most important of these is that you have to be reinstated. That means somebody has to sign a piece of paper saying that you, the student, are eligible to be a student here again. You also need to reapply to the university as we currently have the rules now. You need to reapply to the university, and you have to be readmitted to the university, and eventually you have to re-enroll. So there's a lot of rewords there. And the timing of these is such that you have to, in many cases, reapply back to the university before you are reinstated and before you're eligible to be admitted, because we now have moved admission deadlines very much earlier with the budget and enrollment crisis that's been hitting us for the past year and a half. So the rules on this are changing all the time, and it's best to check the website to find out precisely what happens with respect to the admission piece, so that you make sure you don't miss a deadline. It's possible to be reinstated and find out that, oops, I missed my reapplication deadline, and you have to wait a year and a half to get in. Even if you're fully admissible, you just missed the deadline. So in the past, you could apply after you were reinstated. Now you generally have to apply beforehand. There is an exception to this. At the moment, we are not accepting any lower division transfers, and when you're disqualified, you are viewed as a new student meeting whatever criteria are in place for the university. This is what I was talking about digging yourself a deep hole. Because for a lower division student, you have the alternative of a community college education and returning as an upper division transfer student, and that's currently what's being done. It seems a little harsh, but if you get into this hole, you may be away for a couple of years before you can return to San Jose State and continue working on your degree. The other thing is that under what's called impaction, and you may have heard about this, individual departments and colleges can have tougher admission standards. So even though you may be admissible back to the university, you are reinstatable, you have reapplied on time, you've done everything, your college may have a new GPA for entering students of 2.6, and you have worked your way by diligence at the community college or through open university courses at San Jose State back up to a 2.0 or better, but you won't be a 2.6. Therefore, you may not even get back into your original major. This is pretty hard on students, which is why I said at the outset, you don't want to find yourself in a disqualified status. But again, take advantage of the advising that's available in your department and at the university, because, as I said, rules are changing every semester, and the best advice is to go seek advice.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Branz, for your informative answers. We greatly appreciate them, and it's very helpful knowing all these new policy changes that you informed us with.
My pleasure, Perla, and come back anytime you want some other questions answered.
Thank you so much.